in Judaism, this family thing. Yeah? It's very, very cultural. So what one does, for example, in Buddhist circles, if somebody's in the room and you can feel they cannot bear that the person is dying and they start wailing and crying, you take them out so that the dying person doesn't hear them, so that they can go peacefully. Yeah? You have to if you stay behind, you have to let these people go, and it's painful. Yeah? So dying alone, there's these 10 wishes of a Kadampa master, how they want to die, like a beggar, like a dog, like a hermit, like da-da-da-da-da. Absolutely insignificant, because then you can go very peacefully, when nobody is suffering, when nobody cares about you, when nobody is there to think, hey, you still owe me 20 shekels, what is going to happen with your possessions. This is how they want to die, alone. Being able to concentrate on their death process, being able to concentrate on their journey. The same, you prepare a journey and you have somebody on your kind of go, hey, I want to do this, but you want to prepare the journey, they don't let you go. Yeah? So this is why it's so helpful. You see, we have a lot of ideas, but then when we discuss it, then we see that, maybe yes, maybe no. This is why we're doing this. Anything else about this? That how you don't want to die?
ISIS way.
Huh?
The ISIS way.
The ISIS way. This was with the terrorists, isn't it? ISIS? Or what do you mean?
Yeah, just
in a terrorist attack.
Cut your head.
Or you... Yeah, okay, well... Okay. Somebody cutting my head, okay? There is a Zen story. The Zen master is sitting there, and the samurai is very angry, comes to him, and he says, you, master, I don't know, you said this and this, I don't agree, and he took his sword and he said, I want to kill you. And he was just sitting there, and he said, now you are in hell, to the person with the sword. Then he was so surprised that he let the sword down, and then the Zen master said, now you are in heaven. You see, if I make prayers, if a terrorist comes to kill me, may I be able to have compassion for him, because then I have to die anyway, because then I can die with an open heart. May I be able not to be angry at somebody who's going to kill me, because you don't need an ISIS. This German guy, a totally normal guy, seemingly, that just killed 2 people. Right now. I'm listening to the news, okay, to the German news, so I might be a bit more informed than you are. There's big discussions going on, how to prevent this and that, and it starts in the internet, and it starts at school already with ideas about these people are worthwhile to be friends with these or not, I just watched the discussion with very high-powered people who were thinking about what to do. He was a normal guy, but connected to the extreme right. Yeah, which is starting to grow. Not just in Germany, but in the whole of Europe. So it's not just ISIS, we are surrounded by this. So again, if they come, but maybe we can be prepared. When I came to Israel for the first time, I came in 2000, it was the second Intifada, and people said, what, are you going to Israel? Are you crazy? I mean, you're not from there, why do you want to go? No, it's dangerous. But my master told me to come. So in order to be not so afraid, I meditated on walking into a bomb. I'm not joking. So I would be less nervous. Also, totally false picture, because you see the news and you think it's everywhere. But it was bad. I mean, there were bombs, and there was buses exploding. I was never there, but not so far away. Buses, then the nightclub in Tel Aviv, and a supermarket or somewhere, I think, in Tikva, or whatever it's called. Okay, no ISIS way, cutting head. This we cannot prevent, okay? It's for us to see, yeah, it's okay. It's for us to see if we have more, then somebody else will come up and, so maybe we should put a chair here for you so that at least you can sit down. Sorry, it's good that you signaled I want to go sit down. So anyway, but continue with the list maybe when it's hanging out there. okay, I will put it out there. Maybe continue with the list or make your own list. How you want to die and how you don't want to die. Because then you will see, well, I have no control over ISIS. I have no control over terrorists. I have no control over hospitals that they have to be quiet, when I want to die in peace, leave me alone. But they will maybe want to revive you, who knows? Yeah. So write down how you want to die. For example, if you want to have, do you have that? That you write down, I don't want this, I don't want that. Did you do it? Is it easy findable for people? Is it easy to find for people? Just in case I die, mine is here. I carry it with me all the time. It's like money pills and colored chocolate sand and blessing strings and telephone numbers and passwords, which one you can eradicate, like, accounts and this and that. So it's easy for people. They know what to do, whom to phone, what to do. So it's quite interesting to sit down and write what you want to have done when you're dead. It's quite interesting to look at your mind while you do this. And then you get used to it. When you carry it with you, and then from time to time I change it, because I made a mistake. Usually I have one, in the front is German, at the back is English, this is only German. So I need to die somewhere where somebody, so you need to call Nomi, Leora, if I die, because then she can read what it says, because it's only the German one that I took. Okay, this is a good way to prepare for death. We don't need to know exactly that when we die, but to be prepared. And then with this list that will be very personal, you will see, where do I have a choice? Where can I do something already now? And where is it that I just have to let go? So in general, you see, spiritual people, what they're afraid of is to die with a no peaceful mind and this and that. And usually people who don't have spiritual practices, not in a fire, not drowning, not in terrorists, and like this. And then we see this, we have no control. And then it changes again. The priorities go somewhere else, and then you have a choice, and you can start working with this. When I did this the first time, many years ago, I wrote down, I want to die next to my teacher. Then I was 40, he was 70, I saw it. I thought, maybe not really realistic. So I need to ask my teacher the questions that I have whenever I have an occasion and not wait. Yeah. This whole thing about knowing that we will die is don't wait. When you know somebody else is dying, don't wait. And go open, no agenda. Same, when you have to die, no agenda. And another thing I wrote, because when a Tibetan Buddhist dies, we have sadhanas that we do, certain practices every day. So somebody reads them next to you so that your mind goes into visualizing, doing the sadhana. So when I did this first time, I was in America, and I didn't like the person who would usually do it. It was a nun that I had dislike for. So I wrote down, I don't want her to do that. And then I thought, well, but I have no choice. I mean, if I can't talk anymore and it's her job, she'll be there. So I knew I had to work with that aversion, which then I did, because otherwise it's too dangerous. Yeah? And now it's quite okay. She could sit there and say whatever she wants to say. I'm not happy to it anymore. So these are the advantages to think about this. Yeah? So it's good from time to time for you to think about it. Okay, so we go to the text again. And page 12, where there is this, the whole path, all the stages of the path. So we said we rejoice that we have perfect human rebirth. So it's the third verse. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of black and white karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativities and accomplish all virtuous deeds. So this awareness that we are going to die, at the beginning it might make you depressed and frightened. But you get used to the idea. Because the fear of death is totally useless. It just makes you tense, you don't enjoy life anymore for something that is inevitable. I mean, it's so silly, you know. And then you have to check what are my views, what comes after death. And saying, I don't know, is not good enough. What do I believe? So if you think at the time of death everything is finished, well, then you only need to be afraid for being in pain or, not being peaceful or whatever. But then when you stop breathing, that's it, it's finished. No need to be afraid of anything going on. Do you see what I mean? Because people say, oh, I'm afraid of the unknown. Look, every night you go into the unknown. And you go to sleep quite happily. You don't know where you're going in your sleep. When you dream, you don't know that you're dreaming. You're able to do this without any panic. Even you had a nightmare, if the nightmares are really big, then you don't want to go to sleep anymore. Because when I was an alcoholic, and when I stopped drinking, I had like huge nightmares. I was dying every night, falling into a black hole, and I was so afraid of sleeping because I didn't have any methods how to deal with this. This is why then I went into psychotherapy. So then I would stay up the whole night and knit socks and talk to myself as somebody else. I gave myself another name, and maybe I did my own therapy or something. I was knitting socks. All my friends got socks at that time. So I was knitting socks, staying up the whole night, and talking to myself. But because I was too frightened to go to sleep, because after not having the alcohol anymore, having these nightmares. So I understand when people start drinking again. I really do. And I really don't know how I made it, to be honest. I think I was really, really lucky. I was really lucky never to fall back, because it's so difficult to live with that shitty mind. You don't know what to do, and then you drink, it just calms it down. That's why I drank, because I was full of fear all the time. Yeah. Anyway, so you have to check what are my views. Is there, we had been on page 12, I think. It says, this life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. That's what we saw. And now we go to page 5. In order to use this life that we have in a meaningful way, a good way to be able to do it so that we don't fall into laziness and patterns again is to think about impermanence and death again and again and again and again. So you see, when I see this lady was ALS, I have a deep conviction that next year I will still be alive when I come and she will be gone. This is, kind of gut feeling. It's totally wrong. I can die before her. In an accident, or in a terrorist attack, or in whatever, somebody going crazy. Sometimes people are not even terrorists, they're just frustrated. They take the car and they kill someone. They drive into a group of people having a good time. It happened in Austria a few years ago. His wife left him. He was neither right nor left nor anything political. He was frustrated because his wife left him and he couldn't see the children anymore. He took his car and on Saturday morning, he went in Graz. He went to the marketplace and killed 22 people. This is what the world has become today, where human life seems to, And can you see the confusion? Why do they do this? Because they think it makes them feel better. I mean, come on. How more confused can you be? So I get angry at these people. I think compassion would be a more appropriate reaction, that they're so confused that they do these crazy things. Yeah? So for us, I know it's painful to think about this again and again and again and again, but once you got used to the idea that we will die, you will probably, because I lost my fear, not exactly totally, but not this panic fear that I don't want to, falling into black holes and do this. This is gone. I can go to dead people, I can go to dying people, which I couldn't at the beginning. I didn't want to have anything to do with them. Yeah? So we make our mind familiar with that we're going to die. So that then, according to our views, what we think will happen at the time of death, we start to do the appropriate things. So if you think everything is finished, you don't believe in rebirth, make sure that you have maybe medicine with you or morphine with you all the time. I don't know. You can just pop it in your mouth. I used to have morphine with me also all the time for a while. Not for me, but maybe for others, or maybe for me because I still had some left over from a dying person in India. So I took it, and once I gave it to a dying dog, which was very helpful. So this is your choice to really, there's different views. Some different religions tell us different views. The Buddhist religion says your mind continues at the time of death. Yeah? How and what we will look at this evening. So there is what is called 9-point death meditation. So the first point is like that death is certain. We are on page 5. So we think we know that death is certain, isn't it? But if tomorrow morning somebody is missing in the booth, somebody else goes to check, and the person is dead in the bed, would you say, yeah, death is certain, everybody dies? We would stop this course. We couldn't continue. We would be so shocked. Death is a big thing. I mean, don't underestimate how big it is. Birth is very big, death is very big, So it changes everything. I mean, if you are in a household where somebody has just died, the life stops. Because we're not familiar with that it's a natural law. That's why everybody freezes. Yeah? So we have to make ourselves familiar with it. So to feed our mind just the point death is certain is not enough. We have to give it good reasons so that it starts to believe it. So the first reason is, it is impossible to find a body that does not die. Like even Shakyamuni Buddha died. This is why he died, in order to show us impermanence. That he said, look, even me as an awakened being, I am dying, so how about you, non-awakened ones? Yeah? Everybody that was here 200 years ago is dead. Everybody, from the smallest ant to the biggest human being, or animal, or whatever. Yeah? We cannot find one being who has not died. But we still have this illusion that maybe me, I will not die. I mean, it's like, again, it's this gut feeling that we have, I will not die. The body will die, yeah, but I will not die. Yeah? So we need to convince ourselves, hey, not possible. So we reflect on these points again and again and again. Poor Yael will have to take you through it. Now, another point here is, every moment we are approaching death. So this is like having a bank account where nothing comes in and you see that it is decreasing, 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 decreasing. So if you see that, you start to use your money in a good way and not just squander it. And here it is with time. You see, in the morning you can think, this could be my last day. How do I want to live it? Depressed, with joy, kind, angry, stressed, depressed I already had. How do I want to live it? But it could be my last day. This is not a fact yet. In the evening, if you think, one day less in my life where I have time to do what I want to do. So we come back to the meaningful life. We need to know what we want to do with our life so we can die without regret. It's too late to start when you're desperate to think what you wanted to do. You see, when we see people who have cancer or AIDS or this ALS or whatever, then we maybe appreciate having a healthy body or a more or less healthy body. Otherwise, how many times you wake up in the morning really, really happy saying, oof, I'm not sick. day before, then we appreciate being healthy. Or only when we see people who have big sicknesses, we start to a little bit appreciate that we're healthy. You know? We could all be lying in a hospital, but we're not, so that's wonderful. You know? But every day there is less time to do what we want to do. So every moment we're approaching to death, we cannot add anything to our lifespan. You can plead with death, you know. I mean, I think this is why also Jewish people, maybe it's just my theory, but Jewish people, you know, this generation also, you had to fight for your life, like so much. Like the Second World War, even before, the people were kind of, not you personally, but you as a people, yeah? That you had to defend yourself, you had to fight in order to survive. So it has become a habit, yeah? The struggle for life, because dying you give in to the enemy. But this last enemy, death, will be stronger than you are. There's no way that you can overcome it, yeah? The Tibetans also had to fight, like Ringo Tulku, he told us this story about his aunt, who was in prison and she was tortured by the Chinese army also in prison, and she wanted to kill herself, but she didn't succeed. She didn't want to survive until she heard that the soldiers said that they would be happy if she would be dead. Then she survived. Said, oh, I'm not going to die. You want me dead? I am not going to die. So again, you know, it's like for her, then life became worthwhile living, not just out of instinct, because, you know, she was a practitioner, she could have gone like this, but they want me to die? No, I'm not going to die. I'm not going to do them the favor to die. So she survived. Okay, so sometimes they say our situation is like falling from an aeroplane without a parachute. We would be clearly conscious that death is approaching. Yeah? So our situation is not that much different, we just don't know it. That's the difference. We're also approaching death. Yeah, maybe slower than with the parachute. Yeah? I think Tony at Root Institute, when he led the meditation, he had this thing that, you know, for the tact, so he's going tick-tock, 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 and he was just going, and one day it will stop, and he was saying, people freaked out. You see, when you breathe out, me also, when we breathe out, we are 100% sure that we can breathe in again. 100% sure. The moment will come when this is your last out-breath. But these instincts that we have, they're so wrong, and so preventing us actually from leading a meaningful life also. So then the third point here, maybe it's not so much a reason why death is certain, but the third point here is that when we're convinced that yes, death is certain, we don't know when, but one day it will be finished, then we start to look at the activities of our day. How do I spend my days? You know? Am I just, totally wasting time because you said, feeling sorry? Do I waste my time with creating things that I will feel sorry when I die, or do I spend my time? Because so many things we have to do just to survive, even though they will not be helpful at the time of death. We have to sleep, where unless you're a good practitioner, you don't practice. You have to work to earn your money. You have to learn a lot of things when you're young. Then in the middle of your life, you don't have time because you have to earn all the money. And then when you're old, you're too old to really practice. This is how life is. Yeah? By the way, it is not to make you depressed. This is to cheer you up that we're still alive and we still have time to do something. It is never too late. Okay, then the next point, sorry, it's like there's something with the formatting. I don't know if it's because I have the old book. Is it in bold when it says time of death is uncertain? Okay, good. So that has been changed. Because mine is, so the second point there, the main point is the time of death is uncertain. We don't know. Sometimes even people try to kill themselves. It's not working. So Lama Zopa Rinpoche always uses the same example, and I don't think he's lying, because why would he lie? So a woman tried to, she didn't try, she jumped off, 30th story somewhere in America, of a high-rise building, but because the wind is so strong between these buildings, she was swept into a room by the wind of an apartment where the window was open. So, we had, on one course, we had a young woman who had tried to commit suicide, I can't remember, 10 or 12 times. Her body was full of scars and broken and this and that. So it had never worked. Now you can say, oh, she probably didn't try properly. But, she did it. She was bulimic also. So, and just this, the precious human rebirth, I can die any moment. I didn't even know what she was talking about. She came back from dinner and she came to see me and she said, oh, you know what? I decided not to do the offering to Queen Porcelain tonight because that would have been my last dinner. I didn't know it was Queen Porcelain. It's the toilet. Because bulimic, you vomit. And she thought, when I became aware this can be my last dinner, I didn't go and vomit it out. So I don't know, I don't want to claim this is the beginning of her cure because we lost contact, of course. But still, so she saw that it's possible when you have the right thoughts not to vomit it out. So, to appreciate life. So she also had a lot of humor, but she had like scars everywhere and she just hated herself. She hated her body, she hated herself, she hated her family, she hated her country. She was from Sweden. Was it this course that somebody said, no, I was in the Yom Kippur, somebody says, here, the social service in Israel is not as good as in Sweden. What? But you have social services. Anyway. So the time of death is uncertain. Why? Because we don't have a fixed lifespan. Page 5. Or do you have other pages?
6.
Huh?
6.
6. So maybe I need to have one of these newer booklets. I'm sorry. Oh, so no wonder you're confused. Why didn't you say anything? And this one has no page numbers.
That's very little.
Okay. Oh yeah, here. Ooh, very good. Okay, page 6. Great. So why is the time of death uncertain? Because we have no fixed lifespans. You see, if we would have a fixed lifespan, we would say, okay, now I'm going to have fun, then last 2 weeks, 1 month, I just sit, meditate, generate good heart, do Tonglen, practice the death stages, the death absorptions, that's fine. See, when you have, if you have an expiry card for your gym, if you pay for the gym, yeah, and you know it's only 2 more weeks, you go at least 1 more time. You're not saying, I haven't been the last 6 months, why would I go now? Yeah? So you do go. So, but we don't know when our subscription for life is finished. We don't know. Yeah. Many causes, so then also why did the time of death is uncertain? Because many causes are for death, few to support life. It takes very little to destroy a life. The blade of a knife. Sometimes it's something as little as a virus that we don't even see with our own eyes. Don't eat big bones. Or, it can be inner things also. Because our body is very fragile. That's the third point. And the things that we make, that we produce in order to support life, they can destroy life. Like houses can burn, collapse, food can be poisoning, medicine that is supposed to support our life can be also causing death because you take it not in the right way. Cars, very dangerous. planes, very dangerous,